Hey, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of the FPF podcast, First and Goal. I'm Brent Bodkin. I'm joined as always by my co-host Quaysie. We got the main man Ali Reza, our producer of the show. You're not going to see him, but you might hear him, and he's definitely the one giving you all the graphics and everything, all the important stuff of the podcast. So we're kicking off this week. Last week we launched our personal all-star teams, our fantasy teams, if you will. 8 ladies from women's two, pardon me. So tonight is going to be the second part. We're going to have 8 ladies now representing the women's one division. So again, this is an idea that Quaysie thought of to have last week, and I think is awesome. So we're going to continue, and like I said, have our second teams here tonight for the ladies one division. So last week I picked first, I think, for ladies two. So this week, to be fair and be gentlemen, I'll let Quaysie, you could have the first overall pick for the ladies one division. I don't know if you want to just give a recap of what
Yeah,
happened last
so
week.
I'll just explain to everybody how it works. So we're just going to be doing women's one. It's going to be all the girls from women's one. So I believe there's 6 teams in the division this year. And basically, I'm going to pick, then Brent's going to pick, then I'm going to pick, and then Brent's going to pick. We're going to pick 8 females. And yeah, it's going to be our all-stars. And then we're going to have like an Instagram post where you guys are able to vote to basically see who has the better team.
All right.
Very good. So as you said, you're gonna let me start first. So I'm gonna start with Sarah Parker, quarterback. I'm actually gonna pull up everyone's name.
Okay.
Call it. So you should see it on the screen as well. So I'm taking Sarah Parker from Sub-Zero. And it's on you.
All right. All right, so you got Sarah Parker's fantastic pick. I mean, let's be honest, she is the best quarterback in the country. 29 TDs so far, 3 INTs, completing almost 80% of her passes. Solid player, solid person too. So that's a solid pick. Again, she's on Sub-Zero right now. They're 4-1. They have a share of first in the women's one division. So yeah, definitely a great pick by you. They're tied actually with the Citadel. So okay, so you got Sarah Parker off the board again. Like I said, great pick by you. I'm gonna go for quarterback as well. You know what? Actually, since you have the quarterback, there's only 2 of us. I don't have to pick another quarterback till later in the draft. So I'm gonna pick Sarah Parker's number one target, leading receiver in women's one, Carolina Moquin Joubert of Sub-Zero, 35 catches, 10 TDs. So she leads the division in touchdowns with 10. She leads it in yards as well with 465. Also, a quick little side note here. I got to call one of her games. So I didn't realize she plays women's hockey. So she plays for the Concordia Stingers. She's actually the captain of the Concordia Stingers women's hockey team. The defending national champions. Actually, I'm going to have a chance to call her game next. I want to say, I should know this off the top of my head. I just finished doing some prep this morning for it. I'm calling her game against McGill next Saturday, I should say. So how it works with women's hockey is like same thing with men's football, right? They play in the RSCQ division. So Concordia is playing McGill next Saturday at Place Bell. McGill's home for the season, so I'm gonna have a chance to call Caroline as she takes the Stingers on the ice and again going for back-to-back championships. So best of luck to her. So yeah, so Caroline Moquin Joubert is my first leading receiver in Division One.
Okay, so it's a solid pick. I'm gonna go with other. Yeah, duel for that. All right, that's a good pick. Okay, so it's my turn. I'm just gonna cross out Caroline because I actually had her too. Yeah. So for my second pick, I'm gonna stick with. I'm actually gonna go. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna change teams. I'm gonna go with Cayenne. I'm gonna go with Lorian Boucherman, or Bouchers, Boucher, or what pronouncing last names. I'm gonna pick her up. She plays on Cayenne. Yeah, she's. I've seen her play a lot. She actually plays. Sometimes she actually plays for Division Two. She plays for the men's. She plays with the Braves. She's an amazing two-way player. She's probably one of the best two-way players that I've seen for women's. She has amazing hands. She reads defense as well. She knows how to. She understands defense. She gets to the right zone when she has to, and she's a solid player. All right. All right. So right now, wait, sorry. So right now, it seems like we're having technical difficulties that the viewers can't see you right now. So I'm just gonna continue going and from what I'm doing right now. They're trying to bring Brent right back into the view. So I'm just gonna keep going here. So I think you could hear me, Brent, but they can't see you. So I think that's a general, and I don't think they can hear you either. So you know my second pick. So I'm just gonna wait until you get back because I don't want to make an error pick. Unless you want to tell me your pick, because I think I can hear you. They just can't hear me. They can hear me, but they can't hear you. This is weird. I can see you. I can hear you. I can see you. I don't know. I can see him on the screen.
I have no idea. Okay. Uh, I have no idea. So you want me to log off and log back on? Right. Okay. Okay. So you want me to hang it up and then hit the link again? Okay. 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 Yeah.
Weird. Lothian, uh, Bouchamp, Bou, Bouch, Bouchamp, Bouchamp, Beauchamp. No, I know. I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna let him know. I'm gonna say, don't kind of explain like the girl's stats. Kind of like say what team she's from. You don't go into detail. You don't have to go into detail. We could go through this a bit way faster than that. He's kind of like it could be fast. Like, we could go through every player like a minute. Barely.
It's 7 o'clock.
And after the stuff.
That could be it. What about now? You can hear me?
Yeah,
The both of you can hear me? Okay, perfect. So we apologize for that. Okay, so you had Lorian Beauchamp. No. Yeah, Lorian Beauchamp for Cayenne.
wait, Brent. Wait.
Hmm? Okay. Okay. Now it's better? Okay.
Yeah, so Brent, so because you don't have that much time, and I don't want this to be as long. So when we do our draft, when we do our picks, we'll just say a little something about the girl, what team she plays for. I'll put up the picture of the girl on the screen. So and all we have to say is like what team she plays for and maybe something about her that we know of. So like
Okay.
lead in ints. Like don't like try to go
Cool.
into
Done.
we could do maybe like we could try to bang this out like maybe a
Okay.
max 45 seconds to a minute on each girl, you know?
Perfect. Okay, cool. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just want to say so quick, you got my message. I think 8 o'clock. I gotta bounce out of here.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Oh,
okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
All right.
I got you.
Cool. All right.
All right, guys. Sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties, so right now Brent's not with us. He should be with us in the next like 30 seconds. Just gonna give some time here. Yeah. Yeah. So right now, as my last pick, I took Lorian Boucherchamp. Uh, Beauchamp. Sorry, horrible last names. That's gonna be my second pick, and then Brent's gonna be here with his second pick right now. All right, Brent's gonna be back here in a second. Just give it.
All right.
And
I'm back. Good. Cool. All right. Okay, we're back. We're ready to rock and roll. Okay, so you got Lorian Beauchamp. It's your second pick. All right. I like you're a good player. Okay, from Cayenne. All right. I'm gonna roll with. Let's see here. I'm gonna go a little bit of defense, and I'm gonna go with Alexandre Fournier, also from Cayenne. Great player. Three INTs. She brought back two of them for touchdowns. Difference maker. That's what I'm going with. Alexandre Fournier from Cayenne.
okay.
You got to get a little defense to win a championship. So she has a lead for pick sixes. That's what I'm going with.
Okay, good pick. I'm gonna go. So my next pick, I'm gonna go with Jessica. Horrible last names. Booth.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, the rusher.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Bossy Tampin, I think, something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with her. Solid
Okay.
rusher. She rushes for men's and women's men's and women's division. She also plays with Sub-Zero this year. She played for Team Canada in Finland just this past summer.
Yeah,
so that's gonna be my pick.
Yeah, Jessica Bossy Tampin. Yeah, great player. They're definitely one of the keys to Sub-Zero success the last couple of years. Got to tip your hat to her. Okay, so that's a solid addition. That's a solid draft pick by you. I'm gonna go with rusher too. Then I mean, that's actually gonna be my next pick. Okay, so I'm gonna roll. Let's see here. What do I want to roll for rusher? I'm gonna stick with the Cayenne defense. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna stick with. We picked her. I think we picked her. No, we didn't pick her in women's too. I'm gonna go with Leah Duval. 9 sacks. She leads all women. I'm gonna go with Leah Duval from Cayenne. I like this Cayenne defense, so I'm gonna go with her, Leah Duval.
Yeah, that was that. If you took Jessica, I was gonna take her. So that's a good pick. All right. Okay, I'm gonna go.
You know, we promised her to get some players from some other teams.
Yeah, that's to be honest. This is probably the hardest thing is that all these girls are pretty much all stars, like going down the line. So like they technically like Sub-Zero has an all star team, Cayenne has all star
Yeah,
team,
exactly.
Cam has all star team, Montreal's all star team. Like it's kind of even hard to. There's so many good females that play in this division.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
So I'm gonna go back with Sub-Zero, and I'm gonna take Sabrina Garfels.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring her up. She's also a 2A player. There you go. Yeah, 2A player. I've seen her play a lot. She's also been playing on Team Canada before, a veteran player, but she understands the game and she's a caller.
Okay, so that's Sabrina Gervais. That's actually my next pick. She's like a bulldog, man. She's a bulldog. Solid pick. I've seen her in action plenty of times. Again, one of the leaders of Sub-Zero. Okay, so that's a solid pick. Actually, you know what? Quick shout out. I have an article coming out tomorrow morning for Division 2, actually including a lot of ladies in this Division 2 article. Valentine's Day just passed. So what I'm doing is I'm giving each team a gift of a player from another division, woman or female, who could add to their team. And Sabrina Gervais is actually someone I'm adding to our roster. I don't want to tell you what that roster, that team is. You're gonna have to read the articles and come out tomorrow morning. So make sure to check it out. Tomorrow early afternoon, my bad, early afternoon. Make sure to check it out. FPF.com. Okay, so you got Sabrina Gervais, solid pick. That literally was going to be my next pick. So let me see here. I want to go with. I want to stay away from Sub-Zero and Cayenne. I want to be fair to some of the other ladies because, like you talked about, there are a lot of other good ladies that are playing impact players. I'm gonna roll with. Yeah, I'm gonna go with her. I think. Let me just double check this here. If I shoot myself in the foot. Yeah, and Frederic Tardif of Les Blues. I've seen her play before. She's a solid player. Right now, yeah, look at her stats. Obviously, 5 receiving touchdowns, 29 catches is pretty solid right there. Nothing really defensively, but you need some receivers on an offense. And again, and Frederic Tardif, one of the leading receivers in the women's division, women's one. So that's who I'm going to roll with for my next pick.
Yeah, no, solid pick. Solid pick again. There's so many good females. I think she used to play for. I think it's her first year at Montreal. I think before she played for Montmorency. So she's kind of just getting.
Yeah, she did.
She's getting. I feel like she's getting kind of into field stuff with the new system, but she's going to be a solid player at Montreal. So
she has some experience. Yeah, Montmorency, like you said, party mix as well.
Yeah.
Last
yeah. All right, so I'm gonna go with Emma Hassan. She also plays for Cayenne.
Okay.
Plays for Cayenne. She also played for Team Canada this past summer. This past summer in Finland. Again, amazing player. She plays co-ed 1 right now as well, and solid hands, great speed, knows how to run a route. So that's gonna be my pick.
I respect that. Okay, I'm gonna roll with. Let me change it up a little bit here. Again, I don't want to just pick Cayenne and Sub-Zero players. I mean, that's the easy thing to do. I'm gonna roll actually with. Just want to check her stats just to make sure. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go with her. I'm gonna go with from the Hebrew, Sarah Lee Morrell. So solid. 1 INT, that's 2 INTs. She brought back 1 for a touchdown and a solid receiver, 31 catches, 6 touchdowns so far. So Sarah Lee Morrell from the Hebrew.
Okay, good pick. Hebrew 1, right? Yeah, that would make sense. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. But I think it's just Hebrew.
Hebrew, yeah, okay. Yeah. So there's like 3 teams, but I realized women's 1, so there's only 1 team there. All right. So
women's 2, I think has it. Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna pick Erica Bastien. She plays for University of Montreal. Again, nice. Solid player, defensive player, sick corner. She also played for Team Canada in Finland. So I've seen her play. I've seen her play a couple games. Yeah. Well, more than a couple games, but I've seen her in the last couple seasons. Solid DB, ball hawk, knows how to read a defense as well. So I'm going to go with her.
Okay, that's solid. Okay. Not bad. I like that. Okay. For my next pick, there's one player I was leaning towards. I'm going to come off of her for a second. This is strictly an offensive pick. I'm going to pick Julia Paradis-Roberge from the Citadin. She leads the team with 6 touchdowns. Yeah, solid receiver. Yeah, I'm going to go with her. And one thing I like to... Sorry?
No, go ahead. Go.
I was going to say, one thing I like to... So you notice, obviously, on the FPF site, right, it has like targets and receptions. So I'm looking at it. 20 receptions, not a ton, but on 23 targets. So pretty much he catches almost every ball thrown in her direction. And those 3 incompletions doesn't mean those are 3 drops. It could just be 3 bad throws by the quarterback. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Julia Paradis-Roberge.
Yeah, no, that's a good pick. I actually played co-ed with Julia on Fast and Furious, and we had Miles Gibbons as our quarterback, and he didn't really he didn't take off any heat, and he used to throw the ball like at the females we had, and she caught everything. So she's solid receiver. She's kind of getting her name out there now too. playing in the the high in the university. She played at Maule too, so she's getting her name out there now, playing in university, and she's going to be a heck of a player. So good pick.
Exactly.
All right. So that's your pick. So I'm on pick 7 right now. So I have like a whole list here. I'm just going down from it. Okay, I'm gonna go with a snapper. Her name, Matsen, Renault. She plays for Cayenne, number 8.
Okay.
She's been in the league for a while now. I'm just gonna have her pulled up here.
Okay.
Yeah, there she is. She's been in the league for a while now. She used to play for Montreal as well, but I believe she graduated. Solid snapper, good hands. She's tall too, so she's a big body on the field. Knows how to position herself, making big catches. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with her.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna go back to Les Bleus here. I'm gonna go with Chloe Samard from Les Bleus. Solid player. Again, I talked before, right, about like targets to catches. 39 targets, 38 catches. Can't argue with that. She's averaging almost 10 yards a catch. Yeah, Chloe Simard from Les Bleus is going to be my next pick.
I'm just gonna pull her up so I don't recognize the name. Okay, yes, Chloe. Yeah, she used to actually play for Champlain. So this is also her first year. She used to. This is her first year playing with Montreal as well. But yeah, she's a big receiver too. Big body.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I watched her when she was playing with Champlain. So that's a good pick. So I have 3, 6, 7. So this is gonna be my last pick. Just looking at my team, so I have a quarterback, rusher, snapper, two-way, one-way, defense. All right, so I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna try to find a two-way player here. Okay, I'm gonna go back with Sub-Zero. I'm gonna take Tamara Jonot.
Yeah, smart. Good call. I like that.
I've seen her.
Impact.
I've seen her. I've been watching all these girls play, right? So, like
that makes sense.
I picked up the wrong Tamara. But yeah, so she's a two-way player, solid defender, knows how to play receiver too, but solid defender. Plays at Sub-Zero, also plays co-ed right now on, I believe it's been on a nice try. She knows what she's doing. She's able to compete again versus males, females, doesn't matter what situation is. She's a baller. As Jeff said, player, so I'm gonna be choosing her.
Good call. Okay. All right. Okay, so for my last pick, I'm gonna go back to Cayenne. I'm gonna roll with quarterback Sandrine Gobet. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Yeah, so I'm looking at it right now, right? So looking at her numbers, she's pretty impressive. So she's 1-on-1 against Sarah Parker and Sub-Zero, right? Sarah Parker against Cayenne is throwing 9 touchdowns, 3 INTs. The reason why I'm picking Gobet Hewitt is because of the 0 in the INT column. That's one of the reasons why. So I think she has 14 touchdowns, 0 INTs. Another big reason is completion percentage. I'm really big on that. Her completion percentage is pretty much 76%. She's averaging 11 yards a pass. That's what I'm going with her. So the 0 turnovers, especially against a defense like Sub-Zero, the top in the league, that's big for me. Able to protect the ball, and that's what Sandrine Gobet Hewitt does.
Yeah,
why 20 touchdowns, obviously.
Yeah, no, she's a solid quarterback. I believe she graduated from Montreal last year, so that's why she's not with the UDM team this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, she's a solid quarterback. All right, so that's done. Maybe we do a recap of our team if you want to do that, and then we can start with Division 6.
Sure.
I have. I'm not gonna really. I'm gonna not try to attempt to do the last names, but I have Sarah from Sub-Zero. I have Jessica from Sub-Zero. I have Sabrina from Sub-Zero. I have Tamara from Sub-Zero. I have Lochian from Cayenne. I have Emma from Cayenne. I have Matkin from Cayenne, and then I have Erica from Montreal.
So basically, you have a team from Cayenne and from Sub-Zero, one person from another team is what you're saying. I think somebody kind of took the easy way out here, but all right, it's okay. I try to be a bit more diverse with my team, but it's all right. Okay, so I got Carolyn Moquin Joubert again from Sub-Zero, Alexandre Fournier from Cayenne, also from Cayenne, Leah Duval, my rusher. I got Anne Frederic Tardif. I got Sarah Lee Morel from Hebrew, Julia Parody Roberge, Chloe Simard, and again my QB, the one and only Sandrine Gobet-Hiwat from Cayenne. So I try to get players from different teams. I managed to get almost every single team from Women's One on my team. I think that's a little bit more challenging and better if you're picking an all-star team, but all right. It's kind of like Quaysie picked everybody from the Eagles and the Chiefs for his Pro Bowl, and like, everybody else I don't know. But all right.
Well, as I said before, to be honest with you, I had a list of 22 females. I could have been way longer than that.
Yeah.
And I had a ranking from top to bottom. It's kind of how I saw it. But again, like all these girls to me, all these girls can be all-stars. If you take away my 8 girls that I took, I could find in there 8 amazing females that could be all-stars in my eyes.
100%. 100%. There's a lot of big names we left off the list.
No, for sure. A lot of big names. Like I literally have a full list here of 22 females that I had, and I was like, okay, so I'm just kind of picking, choosing, trying to make a defense, trying to make offense, trying to see what works, what lines work, so chemistry as well. If I'm going to take a quarterback, I would like to have receivers from the same team, so.
100%.
All right, so as we said before, we're going to have this posted on Instagram for you guys to make a vote, and we're going to see, you guys are going to choose who has a better all-star team, me or Brent, and we're going to go from there. All right, so let's just jump in. We'll start with Division 6B.
All right, so looking at it, it's only one game pretty much, and that was actually back on the 9th, which was...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's been a while. So obviously a lot of games canceled. All the games really canceled last night. That's talking about the Nardogs. TD Blitz is supposed to be at the Stinger Dome. So the Stinger Dome, so actually, I don't know if you're aware, I got a message today from Maule about an hour and a half ago. So all the games for the remainder of the winter season at the Stinger Dome are canceled. So
yeah,
that's you're part of the base camp there. Yeah, so obviously at FPF, we're Jeff and everyone else, Mo and Ben, they're going to put out a new schedule. So you won't be losing those games. So don't worry. Those games will be played. It's just we're trying to figure out right now when we're going to schedule those games for you. So don't worry. But again, all the games at Concordia, the Stinger Dome, especially this Saturday, all those games are canceled for the rest of the way. So again, the captains, just be aware the new changes to the schedule will be put up as soon as we have them. So make sure to look out for that. So that game was canceled last night. Nardogs, TD Blitz, Passing TDs, and Spartans also in Chateauguay was canceled last night. Obviously with the weather. Today we're Monday. We're filming the show on Monday. Obviously the last couple of days the snow's been hectic for everybody. It took me an hour and a half to get my car off the ice this morning. It's good times. Looking at the rest of the schedule. So tonight in Saint Laurent, actually a game I'll be working. Emperors Fed against the Cougars. We have in 2 games Wednesday. FC Bing against Big Assets and Balls Deep taking on in first place, taking on Over and Underachievers. That's taking place Wednesday at Steady Bear. That's the game I'm actually looking forward to the most. Again, Balls Deep against Over Underachievers.
Same here.
That should be a good one.
That's something I'm looking at. Balls Deep have a perfect record on the line. The only problem with that is that the last game they played was January 25th, so they haven't played a game in almost 3 weeks. Yeah. So Overachievers,
pretty much,
a team that's kind of in the middle of the pack right now. So if Balls Deep doesn't have that chemistry and kind of have that rust, they could actually end up losing their game. So as we said, I'm also looking forward for that game. I feel it's going to be a good one, and it's a perfect season on the line there, right? So a perfect record on the line. So basically that could become a perfect season.
Yeah, perfect record. Yeah.
All right, so let's go to.
And for chat, I've had a chance to work one of the games early, so it should be good. Yep, top over to 6A.
Yeah.
So let's see what we have going on here in 6A.
So
for it to pop up on my screen here, but if you have it.
Yeah, I have it here. I'll have the schedule. I was kind of looking at it. So Chamonix chose lost. So there's no more undefeated teams in Division 6A anymore. Division So they lost to Vengeance, and did I say that right? Yeah. So they lost to I have it here. I'm just gonna make sure to check.
Yeah, no, they lost to the Creamsicles. The Creamsicles.
They lost to the Creamsicles. Yeah, exactly.
It was the Creamsicles.
And that gave Creamsicles their first win as well. So it's kind of saying they took away their perfect record and they gave themselves a win on their schedule. So that's something that was pretty big.
Well, that's it exactly.
That I saw. Yeah. So
what happens with that loss. So again, congrats. Yeah, no more undefeated teams. So congrats to the Creamsicles on getting their first W of the season. But what that loss does now for the Chamonix Chos is it drops them out of first. They're tied for second with VDB Crescent and Team V. Now the LVL Jack Boys are in first place now with a 501 record. So that loss by Chamonix Chos, that's a pretty big one right there.
Yeah, exactly. And then going forward with the schedule, this week we have Team V versus Chamonix Chos, which is going to be a huge game because one's 4-2, other one is 4-1. So that's going to be like shaking up the standings too. And then you have VDB Crescent versus LVL Jack Boys. So again, they're two. VBA Crescent's 4-1. LVL Jack Boys is 5-1. So if Crescent wins that game, they end up going to the first seed, and Jack Boys drop down. But then you could have that tiebreaker between Chamonix Chos. Well, not tiebreaker, where you have that tie. If Chamonix Chos win, they'll be 5-1. Anyways, it's going to be a lot of things are going to be changing around this week. With these 4 games that's happening, a lot of things that could be the top 4 teams could switch around again. That's what I saw.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I saw interesting.
Okay, so let's hop over. All right, so let's hop over to 5B now. Looking at it right here. Okay, so yeah, looking at the schedule here. So for 5B, we have down here. So yeah, so a lot of games actually going on tonight. Just 4 games. So you have Sleepy Nobody against Les Super Turbo Navettes. That's a Steady Bear. Also a Steady Bear Sourpuss against Going Out of Business. Stade Soccer Papineau, you have Chicken Littles against Ducks. And then at College Chez Jean Vianney, you got Bullseye against Kicking Assets. So a lot of big games there. Wednesday, we have Hard Knocked and the Diddlers. And the schedule finishes this Wednesday as well in Laval. So I'll be seeing that game as the Mighty Ducks against the Fly Dealers.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of big games.
Yeah. Also, they looked at Gooners basically got to keep their perfect record.
Yeah.
And Dragon Monkey don't.
Magic,
so they basically
Dragon Magic,
Dragon Magic. Sorry, actually they had a tie, so actually I didn't see that. I was looking at it pretty quick, but anyways, Gooners get to keep their perfect record, so they're 4-0, including with Ducks, Demons. They're also 3-0 and 3-0. So there's only 3 teams now that are undefeated.
Yeah, so it's definitely fluid in this division. I mean, like you talked about, 3 teams still undefeated. Yeah, a lot of. I mean, again, there's still a lot of ball left, right? So I mean, that could change. But yeah, like you said, right now, you have Ducks, Demons, and Gooners still undefeated. With Crash Out Boys right now tied for first with Pasta Arabia and also no pun intended in BTDs. Yeah, so Crash Out Boys 4-1 right now. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with these guys next. Just looking at the next opponent, Crash Out Boys, they're taking on the Ducks. Yeah. Well, actually, no. So that was supposed to be last night, actually. Yeah, so that was supposed to be last night. So that's one of the games is going to get rescheduled because of the storm.
Okay.
Last night. Yeah, so the Crash Out Boys, their next game right now is going to be tentatively this Sunday against the Maccabees. So we'll have to see what happens with that one.
All right, let's see. All right. Okay. 5. For some reason, I thought they were playing. They were playing tonight. Something also interesting. is that there's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's still 6 teams that don't have a win in this division. 6 teams.
Yeah. That's it. They got to start getting some wins together soon, right?
Yeah, it's week 6 for some teams. Some, don't get me wrong, like Hard Knocks, the Diddlers, Hard Knocks and Diddlers only played 2 and 3 games, respectfully. So I mean, they still have a long season ahead of them. But the fact that there's still 6 teams that don't have a win, it's surprising. So I feel like I haven't really seen that in a while, where I see 6 teams without any wins.
Yeah, especially at this point of the season. But like you said, I mean, listen, Mama's favorite and Lazy Mortal, they're 0-6, and they played 6 games. I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, you talked about going out of business, only 3 games. There's only 3 games. Hard Knocks only 2. I don't know how like by mid-February, like what teams only played 2 games. But I mean, hey, it is what it is. You can't fault them. But yeah, they're gonna have to start piling together some W's. All the teams who are winless, right? Especially for Hard Knocks, because their schedule. So because of the late the way it's been, right? Like their first game was January 5th, the opening day of the season. Their second game wasn't until February 2nd. But you fast forward now, the rest of the schedule. Look at the month of March. In the month of March alone, looking at Hard Knocks, they have 1, 2, 3, 4. They have 5 games in the month of March.
Yeah.
What that means is there'll be a lot of games on short days rest.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So I have to see how they take care of it. But I mean, their schedule doesn't look that tough. I mean, they have the Mighty Ducks coming up. And they have Flag Dealers. So Flag Dealers, Mighty Ducks, the Gooners, the Diddlers. Yeah, so they're gonna have to put together some wins, and hopefully it starts this Wednesday as they take on the Diddlers. They're a Statty Bear.
Mm-hmm.
Best of luck to all those teams. You want to hop over to 4B?
5A.
5A. So I remember, yeah, 5A. You're right. Okay, so looking at 5A here. So I got the schedule. Sorry, the standings right in front of me. So the Phoenix Devils 4-0, Pump and Dump 3-0-1. So those are, and actually the Thunder Buddies. So Terry Babelis' team 2-0-1. So there's 3 undefeated teams still remaining in this division. There's only 3, so this is 24 teams, right, in this division. Only 3 right now still don't have wins. That's LS Tigers at 0-3, Brewers at 0-3, and Vice City at 0-4. But again, none of those teams have played 5 games yet, so there's still plenty of time to turn their season around. But again, you got to start stacking together some wins before it gets too late.
Vice City, Alice Tigers. Their points against, points for is not too bad compared to a lot of things. -24 for Vice City, Alice Tigers -20. Like it's not too bad. Like they scored 64, allowed 84. Vice City allowed 101. Scored 101, allowed 125. The margin is not too big where it seems like their season's lost compared to some teams where you see them score like 45 and they allowed 150. So they're still in the margin where they could turn their season around. It seems okay so far.
Yeah, that's it. And it sucks though with the weather yesterday. So we got robbed of a good game. It was going to be 2 of the top teams. Thunder Buddies is going to be taking on defeated Devils in the battle of 2 undefeated teams, but that game got canceled, obviously because of the weather. Pump and Dump, they're undefeated. They're in action tonight. They're taking on the Mixed Mamba, so that should be a decent game. I've seen the Mixed Mambas play before. They got a lot of size and some speed on that team, so I'm actually looking forward to see what happens in that game. Ball So Hard University. Yeah, a lot of games going on tonight. Ball So Hard University against 2 squads, so I'll be in St. Laurent to watch that game. No flags given in the Brewers and Chateauguay later tonight at 9. And then you also have LS Tigers. So LS Tigers looking for their first W of the season. They're in action Wednesday in Laval. They're taking on the Reborn Prospects. So Reborn Prospects right now 3-2. And LS Tigers looking to pull out the upset in Laval. So see what happens in that one. There's a couple of good games coming up this week. It's exciting.
Hopefully they could get that upset and get their first win of the season.
Yeah, the one game that did get played this week was so a good one. So 2 veteran teams, Ambush, they knocked off the Super Troopers actually 35-32 down in Bassard this past Saturday night. So that looked like it was a pretty good game between 2 teams, obviously looking to climb the standings right now.
Mm-hmm. As we said before, right? And this, I think this probably is one of the hardest divisions, like as to get into the playoffs, because you have so many teams that are 2-2 right now. And you have so many teams that are 2-3, 2-4, and they're in the red, right? They're not in the playoffs. So I feel like for you to be in the playoffs for this division, says there's only 6 teams that make it, and 6 teams that make it, 8 teams that don't, right? So I believe if you don't have a record of maybe like 4-6, you're not going to be making playoffs this season. And usually, a lot of times, like, you can sneak in as a 2-8 team in divisions like this, right? Like Division 5A, Division 5B, Division 6B, 6A. Sometimes if you get 2 wins, you're lucky enough to kind of just sneak in because there's so many teams that are 1-9 or 0-10. You know, so the fact that there's teams that are right now 2-3, 2-4, and they're not even in the top 16. It kind of just shows that you're going to need at least either you have a 50-50 record where you're 5 wins, 5 losses, or you're going to have a 4-6. I believe 4-6, 5-5 minimum, and you should be fine. But it's going to be very interesting when it comes down to like week 8, week 9, and we start seeing more games develop and more wins, more losses to see who's actually going to get in, who's going to get out, and who's not going to come in. Who's basically who's going to make playoffs and who's not going to make playoffs.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. Because again, 16 teams in a division with 24 and all. It's tight. It's going to go down to the wire for sure. Credit. I'm looking at the highlights right now, the play-by-play from the Ambush and Super Troopers game. So credit to Ben McMahon. We all know he scored a game-winning touchdown, 3-yard TD reception with about 4 plays left in the game. And shout out to another buddy of mine, Kenny Batilias. He's the starting quarterback. His team is the Super Troopers. That's his squad. He had a 40-yard touchdown run to start the game. Like you don't see that too often. So credit to him. Unfortunately, they're on the losing cause. Yeah, so maybe Ambush and Super Troopers will meet up down the line in the postseason. Hopefully, we can only hope so. We'll see what happens if they do.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah, exactly. Hopefully, we both make playoffs. That'd be nice to see.
Yeah, Super Troopers a little bit of work right now. They're in 18th. They're tied in terms of points, but they lost the tiebreaker to Toon Squad. So there's still time. There's still time left in the season to get their act together. Let's hop over to 4B. So looking at Div 4B right now, yeah, Win Diesel still 6-0, sitting at the top of the rankings. The only undefeated team left. The two teams who do not have a win, Mofos, Chattagate Community College. I had a chance to watch the Mofos the other night. I was scorekeeping. They're a decent team. I mean, they're lacking in wins, but they do have some talent on their squad. The Mofos, they have some talent. Yeah, this is a good team. A little disorganized. I scorekept their game. Yeah, it was last Monday, actually. I scorekept their game against the Chosen Ones. Ended in a tie. It was a 12-12 tie. Defense has really played a huge role. Obviously, both teams only scoring 2 touchdowns each. A lot of goal line stops, a lot of goal line stands, just drop balls. There was a controversial TD. So I want to get your opinion on this, Ashley. So I ended up, one of the referees didn't show up. So I actually ended up reffing and scorekeeping at the same time, along with Steven. I can't remember his last name. One of the veteran referees. I'll get it for you in a second. Anyways, a great guy. I ended up helping him out to do some reffing. So one of the receivers, I'm not going to throw in any names. One of the receivers for the Mofos caught the ball. He was in the air catching the ball. While in the air, one of the defenders from the other team, again, this is Sanders' team, the Chosen Ones. Yeah, he came and knocked the ball out of the receiver's hands, but before the receiver's feet touched the ground, he was in midair. The defensive back had enough time and enough speed to get over there, knock the ball. No, he didn't knock his hands, but he knocked the ball out of the guy's hands before the receiver's feet hit the ground. I call that an incomplete pass. Now, Mofos are up in arms. No, that's crazy. That's a complete pass. There should be a penalty. What's your say on that?
Okay, so for me, that's an incomplete pass, right? You don't have possession of the ball. But in FPF rules, you're not technically allowed to do that. Like, well, you're not allowed to do that. Some refs let it happen. Some refs don't let it happen. You know, it depends. Right. You know, I feel like it should be something where we're playing football. It's a rule that happens in football. I feel like even if he like lands with 2 feet inside, I feel like you should have the opportunity to like punch the ball out of his hand so he doesn't have full possession. You know. But some refs play. I've seen some refs even the situation on the same. I've seen refs where you catch the ball and the guy punches it out, literally the same sequence where it's like catch, bang. You know, it's a big bang play, and some refs call it a touchdown. Some refs call it an incomplete pass. It all depends, right? But FPF rules that you're not allowed to physically punch the ball out of someone's hands, like if purposely. You know, if you do it by accident, sometimes if you're both going for it and it kind of just does it. But if the guy's physically going to catch the ball and you're literally going to punch the ball out of his hands, you're not supposed to do that, and it should be a flag. If it's on a completion, it should be automatic flag where they'll get the ball. I guess it's interference, so they should get the ball on the 1 yard line. Sorry, Pat. Yeah, it would be interference. Yeah, so you should get the ball on the 1 yard line compared to just giving.
Yeah, that would be interference, or maybe even unnecessary roughness or what have you.
Yeah, I think it would just be pass interference because you're I'm pretty sure it's pass interference because you're in the way of the guy making the catch.
Yeah, either that or even unnecessary should be unnecessary roughness. Sure, should be UR. I was like, listen, so I'm kind of you're thinking like the guy didn't make a football move. He grabbed the ball out of the air. So I mean, that football. Once he had the ball, he passed all day long. I understand the whole thing. Once his feet land, you can't rip the ball with his hands. Called the person who originally has possession is awarded the ball. I've seen that call before, but again, the guy's feet did not touch the ground. I was right on the sideline watching the play. I made sure the feet were not on the ground. The ball was not out of his hands. The receiver actually didn't really complain to me. It was more his teammates that complained.
Yeah,
it was a quarterback and his teammates on the sideline.
How I see it, like
if the receivers who were around him.
If it wasn't in the rules, where like it wasn't a thing, then if it's like regular football rules that like I've learned to play, like it's a non-catch, you know. But because of how the rules are for FPF, where there's no contact, I mean, it should be. I don't know if I don't think it should be a catch because as a touchdown because he doesn't have possession of the ball coming down, right? But I do believe that it should be.
Exactly.
Just because the rules. Like I do it all the time. You know, if a guy's about to catch the ball and he's landing, I even try to punch the ball out when he comes down, you know.
100%.
That's just 100%. That's how I'm gonna play. So like for me, like because of now I'm like involved in the community and I understand the rules, I have to go with the rule, how the rules say. But as a player, I would be also screaming no catch as well, you know. So all right, let's go to Division 5, 4A.
Yeah, well, that's it. I'm thinking, listen, if he's going to catch the ball, he needs to catch the ball. Tackle like you play tackle, 100 illegal plays.
Yeah.
Anyways, it got ruled no touchdown, ended up a 12-12 game. That play did factor into the outcome, but it is what it is. Okay, so Division 4B now, right? I think we're hopping over to.
Exactly.
One game played that was Saturday. The Raw Sauce knocked off the Slippery Slopes 32-20.
Just pulling up the schedule. So we go from Monday. So we had Blue Balls and Nighthawks.
Yeah, one game got played Saturday.
So let's just so a little recap. So since we had the podcast last Monday, we didn't talk about the games from the Monday. So you had Blue Balls versus Nighthawks, and then you had Kung Pao versus Voodoo. I watched the Voodoo game a bit, and they're a good team. Like I said, they're a veteran team with Frank over there, but their roster, they don't have a consistent roster anymore. They're looking for guys every week. So the chemistry is not there on offense. That's why they're not scoring as much. And the same thing on defense. I believe we saw some highlights here and there on the game where you kind of see them get beat, I think 2 or 3 times on a deep ball. And then you see Frank throwing an interception as well, where his receiver kind of just like, I don't know if it was a post, I don't know if it was a straight through, or he kind of just threw it up, but it was an easy pick for the defender. So they're kind of struggling in that sense.
Yeah, turnovers are always an issue. Frank's a good dude, but yeah, turnovers sometimes unfortunately are an issue with his offense. It's one of those things that when they're rolling on all cylinders, like they could put up some points, but when things are misfiring, little mistakes here and there, it kind of compounds. It adds up on them, and they struggle to kind of rebound after that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so there is that.
This honestly, like, yeah, this is one of my favorite divisions for it. Like, I think it's stacked with there's really a lot of really good teams here. I think it's gonna go down to the wire in terms
Yeah, you're absolutely. I don't see a front
of
runner in this
all
division.
the seeding and that. Like, it's not gonna be all decided ahead of time. Yeah, I understand right now the penetrators are 5-0, but a lot of good
Yeah,
teams.
that's exactly
Yeah.
how I feel too. I don't feel like right now I can't tell you like, yeah, it would be easier to pick the penetrators because they're 5-0, but there's so many good teams in this division. There's so many good athletes, there's so many good players that you don't really know. There's also a lot of teams that like Sun and Guns is a good team. Killer Race is also a good team. Bandits is a good team. There's a lot of good teams that are at the middle of the pack right now that I can see them making a playoff push and making it to the finals in this division. So as well as Speed Academy too. Also,
Yeah, definitely. You look at some of these. Yeah,
is it five? Is it the? So I don't know. Wait, I want to make sure I say this right. I guess it's Speed Academy. Give me 1 second. Was this last week? So Speed Academy played uh, Seven Guns. Okay, no. Okay, maybe that's not this division. I want to give a shout out to. Is it this one? Give me 1 second.
okay, you know what? While you're trying to figure that out, something I want to give a shout out. Actually, a couple of my guys on Balls Deep, a lot of my guys that play on the commission with me in the summer, they're on this team as well. They're taking on big matches. They're taking on the Rico Riders. I was looking at the standings right. So the Rico Riders right now, they're not impressing anybody. They're 1-3, but I'll tell you, I've with Mike in the commission playing the Rico Riders. No matter when we play them, winter, fall, spring, summer, whatever, it's always a tight matchup. So I'm gonna say Balls Deep again. They're 4-1 right now. I'm looking at they're 4-1. Rico Riders are 1-3, but I think it's gonna be a dogfight that game. Anytime it's the Rico Riders against some of those guys like Richie Mondesir, Matt Peacock, Justin Weir, all those guys, Shanton Smith. It's always a tight game, and I think Rico Riders. I'm not saying it's gonna be an upset. I don't think it's gonna be an upset, but I think that game will be a lot closer than what people might think. Again, Rico Riders
Okay.
and Balls Deep.
Yeah, so I wanted to give a shout out for Speed Academy and CRA Boomers. You have Jessica. I don't want to try to pronounce her last name, but Jessica Bowles Itimpin.
Bowles the tap in Russia, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then you also had Emile Joshi.
Okay.
She played for Sierra Bombers. They both basically played this game in Division 3.
Right here.
It's always nice to see females play in like in the male basically division. It's and the fact that they play so well too. It kind of just shows how much how advanced the female game is starting to be, and the fact that they're starting to play in the males divisions and stuff like that. It's always nice to see. So just a shout out to both of them. I was scorekeeping the game next to them when I was watching a bit. All right. All right. Okay. So we're gonna go. We're gonna go to Division 3 right now. Just gonna pull it up. So Division 3. I'm gonna put the schedule as well. Okay. So Division 3 on Monday. So Division 3 again, as we said, we had some canceled games that just came on the Sunday, February 16th. Actually, we had a lot of canceled games on February 16th. We had 4 games that were canceled. As we said, they're gonna take place at their time, and then we're gonna have a game that's happening today: barbecue chicken versus Super Daddies, whatever, at the complex in Chattagny. That game should take place, and then you have backfield penetration versus Les Malous. That's going to be happening at Stade Hubert on Wednesday, which should take place. Very interesting. As I think I played Les Malud. Very good team, good quarterback. Defense has some stuff to work on, but they have some solid guys on offense, and backfield penetration is also a team. It's pretty good. It's a bunch of guys that I know. They scored last time they played. They scored 63 points versus Big Fat Bats, which is also a very good team.
Yeah.
So they could score points. And then the game before that, they played fourth and Schlong, and they scored 50. So it seems like their defense their offense is kind of just rolling right now, scoring over or averaging 55 points a game. So that's something to look out for. I'm very curious to see how the Malud's defense is gonna hold on that, because they're 1-3. Something that's also interesting. I don't think they played this week either. No, they haven't played in February 20. No, they haven't played in a while. They only play next week, so nothing to talk about that. They're still 5-0. Idaho Pimps, they're still 5-0. Uda Pimps.
Yeah.
All right, so we had some difficulties. Brent kind of left, and I kind of just talking about myself, but he's back now. So maybe you heard me, Brent, but I talked a little bit about the games that happened.
Yeah.
That's going to be happening this week. I talked about the games that didn't happen. Anything that's interesting to you for Division 3? As we know, we both know that I find Division 3 winter is probably the hardest division to play in. I feel like after you win a championship for Division 3, you pretty much make a name for yourself. It's something like not a lot of teams could do because there's so much talent. It's like in between Division like 1 and 2, but it's like you're just kind of in the middle. It's kind of where to say it's Division 1, and then you have Division 3 and you have Division 2. It's like that's how I see, because there's so many guys that play in Division 1 and 2 that play Division 3. So you get like you don't get the full roster, but you get like bits and pieces. So I feel like after winning a Division 3 title, like you're pretty much saying, okay, like Division 3 title, we're a good team, Like I feel like it's a big compliment when you do win that.
100%. One matchup is actually is standing out to me is this Saturday. So you're talking about the teams and some of the games that happened already. And that I'm looking at the Bullies right now, formerly Backyard Bullies, now just the Bullies. They're 2-1, so they're taking on Prodigy. Prodigy right now, they're last in 0-4. This is the reason why this game stands out to me is because of the age difference. So I've won a championship with a couple guys on the Bullies before. They're a veteran squad, like guys like Vinny Galano, Sean Avram, all those guys are like 35 today. I'm going to see them tonight and 35 plus, and staying around, right? A lot of those guys, a lot of veteran experience, a lot of championship experience, but these guys are older, right? Taking on Prodigy. Prodigy is a young team. Got a lot of young cats. They actually have enough guys for actual offense and defense, but there are a lot of young guys. Like so, Carter Souls is a guy I've seen play a lot before. He's a really a good player. For the Noah Souls, they have a lot of names, but these guys, what they're bringing to the lineup is speed, youth, and speed, and some size as well. The thing with the Bullies is, with the exception of like Sean Avram and like Jordan Millard, no one's really over like 6'1" on that team, maybe 6'2" at the most. I'm looking at Prodigy. They got some tall guys and they got some tall and fast guys, right? So I mean, I think if Prodigy's gonna get a W, it'll be this Saturday against the Bullies because again, I think they have the speed and the length to go toe to toe with the Bullies.
Yeah. So I'm looking at it now. As you said, the Bully Prodigy does have a big roster. I see some common names in the roster as well. But exactly, they do have speed. They do have height. I think it's also the one thing that Bullies might have going for them is just the veteran aspect in the game. For sure. A lot of times where a lot of these teams they come in. They're like, oh, we go to Vanier or we play University. Maybe not even. These guys look a bit younger, So and they do have some veterans like the parent brothers, Brandon and Bradley. They've been playing the league for quite a while, and they're a bit older guys. But you also have these young guns, right? That play on the Prodigy. So they kind of also feel like they could do a lot of things like jump balls, and sometimes you can't force those
Exactly.
balls
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
the police could be playing a three prevent defense. They're kind of just waiting for them to do the like throw the jump ball, when things are not kind of working.
Exactly.
So I
Exactly.
think if the bullies are smart and they kind of spread their defense a bit, and offense they kind of just run the easy stuff like the slants left, slants right, make the guys kind of play a man-to-man concept, a lot of crosses. They could probably get a win, because that's one of the issues, right? A lot of these young teams, they like to play man to man, and they don't realize that
Exactly.
these
Yeah.
veteran teams, like, all right, you have athletes, good for you. No, I'm gonna run double slants and then a pick from my snapper, and it's easy to get. You get 4 yards, 5 yards, and then all of a sudden you do it out and up, and it's very precise. The bullies are, again, as we said, a veteran team. They've been in this league for a while, and their chemistry is pretty good, So when they have like certain timing routes or certain like out and ups, the ball doesn't. You're not waiting for the ball to be thrown. The ball's thrown right away. As soon as you guys making that out, the guy jumps on it and he goes up. The ball's thrown. So it's those
Exactly.
quick completions become touchdowns, and that's how a lot of veteran teams get those wins against those younger guys.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it all comes. See, I think one of the big reasons, one of the big factors in wins and losses is execution, right? From tackle football to two-hand touch to the PB football to flag football, right? Execution is big. Obviously, the bullies have that on their side. Prodigy doesn't. But listen, you have a team, you got to start trending in the right direction sometime or another, right? So I think this is a prime opportunity for them to get a win. I'm not saying they will, but I'm saying they have more on their side, I think, than BCI. Because if you look at the records, right, one team is 2-1, the other's 0-4. I mean, if Prodigy's going to get together some wins, I think it's going to have to start this Saturday against the Bullies. But we'll see what happens.
All right, let's go to Division 2.
All right.
All right, so Division 2, I have it pulled up here. I'm going to add the schedule as well.
Yeah, so the Dirty Birds still undefeated, still 5-0.
Yeah.
Fins up 3-0. So there's only 2 undefeated teams left in Division 2. Again, a lot of great ball being played. I'm excited about this division. Like I think it's a lot of these teams could be playing Division 1. Obviously, they have to maybe change around the rosters a bit, but I mean, a lot of good balls so far. I'm not disappointed with what I've seen so far to Division 2.
No, exactly. Division 2 is it's wide open as
yeah.
As we said, we realize it's open. Like, you never know who's going to win this. You can't. I wouldn't, like, I play this Division 2, but even if I didn't play this division, I wouldn't say there's a clear front runner. Yeah, Dirty Birds do look nice at their 4-4. They're 5-0. Same thing with One Stop, but like, as again, Fins Up is a good team. Party Ballers, amazing team. Silent Ticklers, again, good team. You have ECW. You have so many good names, so many good athletes, so many good teams that, like, if you don't, when it comes to playoff time, if you don't bring your A game, you're going to lose, So again, I don't see a front runner where I could say, oh, this team's going to win. Right now, Dirty Birds do look like they are the team to beat. They're the team that's going to, seems like they're going to have a chance to win it all. But again, you have One Stop, right? That has 239 points, 157 against. Like, again, that's a really good team. As I was saying, Party Ballers is also one team that's kind of like it's a team that you probably don't want to play against in the first round, because athletic-wise, they have a lot of athletes. They don't have as much good chemistry and flag experience. But again, if it comes to a point where it's you guys don't have the best game and they just end up kind of doing a bit better than you, you'll lose that game. Or if you guys don't play that perfect ball where you're supposed to be playing, like, it's a game that you could lose. And as we said, like, the season only mounts for so much, right? Like, if you check the playoff breakdown, 1 to 4 teams get buys, right? And then 12 teams qualify. But when it comes to playoff time, the records. The first 4 teams, you get to enjoy your bye. But when it comes to the quarterfinals and the semis, there's no more. The season doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you went 10-0. It doesn't matter if you went 9-1. It doesn't matter if you went 4-6. You come to play those playoffs, and anything can happen.
No, that's it. So I want to ask you. So there's 2 teams you mentioned. when you first started talking. So you talked about one stop, obviously, in ECW. ECW, they were 0-3. Now they've won 3 in a row. They knocked off Shake and Bake, they knocked off KGP, and they knocked off this past Saturday, Cushing Corinthians 13. They knocked them off by a score of 59-38. So this offense, I'll tell you right now, by ECW. So during their 3-game winning streak right now, I talked about again, they were 0-3. Now they're 3-3. So now look at their point totals right here. So 33, 46, and then 59. So in the last 3 games alone, ECW has put up 138 points. I'm going to say that again, 138 points. They're averaging 46 points a game. ECW, credit to them. Again, now they're 3-3, 3 W's in a row. They're taking on One Stop, so they have a bye this week. They're taking on One Stop next Saturday in Laval. So that's going to be a huge must-see game in this division. Looking at your schedule, so you guys are in action next week. You're off this week. You're in action next Wednesday against Diamond Bougie, so I expect that actually to be really a good game. Diamond Bougie, I mean, their record is what it is, but I mean, they still have a lot of talent on that team. Right now, yeah, Diamond Bougie is sitting at 2-3, right? So they're 2-3, you're 2-3, so the battle of the 2-3s, that should be good. I know Nobrigard, right? So again, we talked about Nobrigard and Mangoose are the only 2 winless teams in the division. Nobrigard, the schedule does them no favors. Nobrigard's taking on Fins Up coming up. That's taking place this Wednesday. I don't know if Nobrigard's going to get that first W of the season because they're taking on Fins Up. That's going to be a tough matchup. And one more thing I'm looking forward to in this division, so keeping with Fins Up is taking on this coming Saturday. This could be the game of the year potentially. Fins Up is taking on Idaho U to Pimps this Saturday in Brassard. Looking forward to that game. I think it's going to be a great contest.
Yeah, that's going to be a good game. I'm not surprised about ECW though. As I said, they scored 113 points. I believe you said they should be doing that. They've been in this league for a while. They're a veteran team that's been playing with each other for quite a while too. The fact that they're 0-3, it just shows how good Division 2 is this year. So yeah. I'm not surprised. I mean, I'm happy. I'm not as surprised. I'm happy that they kind of turned up the switch now. They're 3-3.
Right.
For them, better chance to make playoffs because 0-3 kind of looked ridiculous. I have a question for you, really fast. What are you more surprised that Mangoose is 0-5 or No Regard is 0-5?
No Regard. 100% No Regard. Yeah, No Regard. I look at No Regard. I mean, I'm going to talk about this in an article that I'm putting out tomorrow. No Regard. I look at the roster. A lot of familiar names, right? Kenny Bay, Ryan Perry. There's a gazillion people on the team that are like staples in the FPF community, right? Like there's Rashawn Perry as well. My buddy Terry Gerville, I'm glad to see he's back. Kendall Myers, even Edward Valmy, right? They have players on their team. Miles Gibbon, as you know, right? He's a solid quarterback. He's not a scrub. He is a legit quarterback. Some would say Division 1, some definitely Division 2, right? I'm surprised that at their start, I know some of the problems with these guys, even Sanders on the team too, right? So they have playmakers everywhere. I know sometimes some of the guys get in their own heads and they'll have kind of those lack of concentration breakdowns or they may be
it's 8 o'clock
or whatever. I'm surprised that their defense has struggled so much. I mean, looking at it, the 31 points they let up against Shake and Bake was like the least amount of points they let up all season. They gave them 31, then 40, then 40 again, then 38, and then 38 2 weeks ago to the Party Ballers. This is a team with a lot of veterans on defense. I expected a little bit better of them. I think one of the problems with the defense is, again, they're lacking a rusher. They don't have a rusher on their roster. Kendall Myers and Sanders Armand combined for 2 sacks. Those guys are great defensive players, but last time I checked, neither of them are rushers. You have to have a rusher on your team. So I think that's the biggest problem with them. No disrespect to Mangoose. Mangoose has some great talent on their team too, but we talked about earlier in the year, right? Earlier, one of the earlier podcasts. It's not the same veteran core that they've had. They're missing a lot of receiver this year, right? So I'm not as surprised with their struggle so far.
Okay.
So let's real quick before I hop up. We'll do Division 1 real quick.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
So looking at D1 here. And the cream of the crop of the men's division in FPF.
All right, so Division 1, you have we still got the Braves 4-0. You have Royal Luminaire, Royal.
Luminaire 4-0.
4-0. You have Party Crashers 4-2. You have Flag 2-2. All Stars 1-2. Run it once. Run it twice 1-5, and you have Bless 0-5.
Yeah.
Anything? Oh, actually, I'm so kind of surprised. Do we? I'm not sure if we talked about this last week. I'm kind of getting confused on the days. So we did talk. I believe we talked about Royal, how they're. Yeah, we did. We did talk about. Yeah, we already talked about this. How they're 4-0 and they beat Flag. They beat Flag 1 last week. Yeah, okay, that we did talk about that. So let me just go in the schedule and see what happened here.
Well, I can tell you right now, the schedule I got in front of me. You got All Stars and Flag 1. So that got canceled yesterday. All Stars and Flag 1. So like I said, that got canceled. It was a Wednesday.
So it was Wednesday, February 12th that we didn't talk about. So Bless, Party Crashers, Braves run it twice. Bless, Party Crashers had a party. They won by 31 points, and then Braves played.
I thought you were going to say the party was blessed, but all right, fair enough.
Braves played Run It Twice. They played us. I believe who was quarterback for? I wasn't at that game.
Oh, I was there. Braves. Yeah. Sorry, my bad. I was there, so I got to see how that game ended. It was Guillaume Ballon played quarterback. Exactly. Joe Maheu wasn't there. I was scorekeeping right next to that. I was trying to watch the game. I was scorekeeping and trying to watch that game at the same time. It went down to like the last play of the game, man. Guillaume Ballon.
It seems like it went to overtime.
Threw a touchdown. It did go to overtime. Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
it did go to overtime. So my apologies. I wrote down exactly what happened at the end. I don't have it with me. It's downstairs. I'm going to go back and get my notes.
It seems like Braves. I kind of looked at it before. It seems like Braves scored, and then they went for one, and they didn't get it. Yeah, they scored. Braves. Yeah. So Braves scored. They went for one. Braves scored. Seems on the last play. They went for one. They missed it, and then they ended up winning in overtime.
So that did happen. There was a nice defensive stop actually by the Braves. I want to see. Yeah. So in overtime, there was a pass from Jeff Rosenblatt. I believe it was intended for. I want to say it was for Sanders, and Jeremy Murphy got his hand up, deflect the ball at the last second, which is why the 1-point conversion for them wasn't good. And then we saw the Braves get back the ball, and they got the 1-point conversion to get the W in the game. My apologies, I can't remember who got the 1-point conversion. And might actually been Suleiman Karamoko, if I remember correctly. I had it in my notes downstairs. Anyways, that was a great game. Went down to the wire, and I remember. So I had asked. Jeremy Murphy was talking to the scorekeeper, talking to somebody during before as the game was starting, and like Joe's on his way. Like, okay, cool. And then someone else on the Braves, I think it was Mike, was talking to say, yeah, Joe's on his way. And then I remember walking over to Jeff and being like, you guys better score your points quick. You guys better score because before Joe gets here, you better get them points on the board. And then Guillaume Ballon came out like the first offensive series, they turned it over on downs. Like, okay, this is going to be what it's going to be. And then I don't know, second half, he found a spark and he started getting the ball moving, man. Listen, Guillaume Ballon, like former McGill defensive back, great player since he's made the transition out to FPF. But yeah, as a quarterback, he didn't look out of place. I can say that. Like he was comfortable.
But he plays quarterback for Quad too, I believe. So he's kind of. I also Braves do that back.
Yeah, you're right.
Double quarterback. So I mean, I feel like he has a little bit of experience. Yeah. They didn't throw him to the dogs, and it was like, good luck, go make some plays for us. So I feel like he has a bit of experience. But
you're right.
Big win.
You're right.
Low scoring game, 19-18. So it kind of just goes to show that Braves had a good defense because Guillaume also again he's not the true quarterback. So the fact that they did score 19, I mean, still decent, but a low scoring game. So coming down to this week, we have All Stars versus Flag Moi, which should be a really good game, and then you have a rematch between Run It Twice versus Brave. So hopefully, both teams will have a full roster for Run It Twice, which is us, and Braves. Hopefully, they have a full roster too. And if they don't, then we should probably take advantage of that and try to get a W for us. And then All Stars versus Flag Moi, that should be a really good game. Two powerhouse teams. As we know, you have Kevin Wyeth and then you have Alex Pease. quarterback. So two Hall of Famer quarterbacks, I would like to say, going at it on Sunday, February.
That game was supposed to be yesterday, right? That game got canceled.
Yeah, so
that got canceled. Yeah.
So never mind.
So it's All Stars.
Yeah,
No worries.
Scratch
so,
that.
So this weekend, right? There's All Stars against you guys running once. So you guys have you guys actually have it tough. You have the Braves Wednesday, and then All Stars is coming Sunday, and also Sunday is Blessed against Flagmont Sac.
Yeah.
So
well, maybe not because the Stinger Dome is closed. The Stinger Dome is now closed, right? So that game is going to be canceled.
Right.
We dodge maybe a bullet where we'll be able to play the Braves, rest up a bit, and then play All Stars.
Right.
All right.
All right.
And then Blessed.
That's it for me.
Yeah. All right. So Brent's gonna.
Exactly.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I guess you could do your
hop off
your goodbyes.
Yeah. All right. Mel, thanks you guys for tuning in. Quaysie's gonna carry the load for the rest of the episode. He's gonna carry the rock. So enjoy, and I will see you guys next week. Peace.
All right. Thanks, Brent. I'm gonna continue going. We're gonna go right now to women's 2. Just gonna have everything opened up. You guys can see it on the screen. All right, so as we see it, we have the Crocs still 6-0. You have Patriots 5-0, and you have Valhalla that's also 5-0, which is pretty impressive. I believe I'm just gonna look at the schedule here for all the teams. So the weekend that just passed. So on Monday we had So Monday you had hard hitters that played X-Cons 134-6, impressive win. You had Patriots that played Hebrew Tooth, and Patriots 157-9. Shout out to Maya. I believe she had 326 yards and 8 touchdowns from the last thing I looked at it. So big game from her. Kind of just shows how good the Patriots are this year. You have Valhalla that played Cavs. They won 41-36. Offensive game, big scoring. And then you have Spartans that played the Aces. Aces scored 52-0. Spartans right now they're struggling a bit. I believe again it's one of their first years being an FPF, and I think it's their first year just having a flag team. So shout out to them. They've scored 6 points this season, which is not the best after 5 games, but it's a start for them. They kind of have to they have to dip their feet in the water and see how it goes. I'm sure in the next couple of years they're going to be better and they're going to be able to score more points. As again, it's only week 5, so they still have 5 more games left. So hopefully they'll be able to turn around and understand a bit more of FBF, how it works, and score more touchdowns. And then you had the Crocs that played Wolfpack that had an impressive win, 27-0. Big game for the Crocs. Kind of showed out their defense today because Wolfpack is not a bad team. They were 2-2 at that point, and they were scoring points. So the fact that the Crocs were able to shut them down to only 27 shows a big stamp on their defense. So this following week, we had Cheetahs versus ETS, and then you had Chaos versus Valhalla. So big game from ETS, low scoring game, 6-7. So not a lot of scoring there, but a big game for ETS for getting that W. They move into the 12th seed right now, so they're one step closer to making playoffs. And they also bring the Cheetahs to 2-2. So the fact that ETS also played 7 games so far, they're gonna have to get as much games won as possible to get them in a better standing to make playoffs. And then you had Chaos that played Valhalla that ended 26-27, which I looked at it briefly. It was a pretty good game. Chaos was up 20-6 at halftime, and then it seems like second half Valhalla just kind of turned up the notch and went to score 21 points, where Chaos kind of stepped off the pedal, only scored 6. And so big win for them. It brings Chaos at 1-3, so they're gonna have to step it up, because right now they're not looking the best. They're 1-3. They're gonna have to win some more games. Their schedule gets a bit easier. They end up playing. If you can see on the screen, they played Patriots, they played the Crocs, they played ETS, and they played Valhalla. So basically, they played three of the top teams that are basically 5-0. So tough schedule for them to start off of. They have UCAM next, and then the schedule gets way easier. They play the Aces, Ex-Cons, Cheetahs, Spartans, and Hard Hitters. So the back end of their schedule should be a bit easier. So that's a good thing for them. Hopefully they can step it up and get some more wins there. Going down for this week to see what's going to be happening. I'm just going to open up it again. Give me 1 second. So the games that are going to be happening this week, because we do have some canceled games, I believe. So Sunday we didn't have Habo 3 versus Lennox, so that game got canceled. And then we have Wolfpack versus Hard Hitters, and you have Cavs versus Spartans. So that's going to be interesting games. That's happening today at Saint-Jean-Vanier, and then we have one game in Chateauguay, which the Cavs play the Spartans. They should be able to get out that game pretty easy. And then Wolfpack plays Hard Hitters. That should be an easy game for Wolfpack too. So they should improve to 3-2, and then Cavs should also improve to 3-2. So that's it for women's 2. I'm going to go to women's 1 now. We'll go with the schedule for women's 1. So for women's 1, Wednesday we had Red Wings versus Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero took care of business. They won 31-0, so nothing really big there. This Sunday they were supposed to have a rematch between each other, but the games got canceled, so that didn't happen. Big shout out to actually, I'm not sure if Brent talked about it, but big shout out to the Blurs. They beat Cayenne on last Sunday. They beat Cayenne 25-24. So they kind of put themselves back in the standings, saying we're kind of here to play. We should be one of the top 3 teams as well. So it's a big win for them. Moving forward, this Sunday you have Sub-Zero versus UCAM. That should be a very interesting game. You have Red Wings versus Cayenne, and then you have Hibou versus Les Bleus. I believe Sub-Zero should take care of business, Cayenne should take care of business, and the Bleu should take care of business, and they all should get a W over there. Not much more to say about that, so I'm going to go to Co-Ed 3. Okay, I'm just going to open it so you guys see what I see. All right, so Co-Ed 3 standings, not much has changed. You have anything that's 5-0 still. You have balls and touchdowns that are 4-0. Dream Killers are 4-1. So not much things kind of changed over there. Still kind of the same thing. Then you have Montreal Dragons going down in the red. You have Montreal Dragons 0-4. They still haven't got their win. You have Hot Wings that are 1-5. You have Ghosted that are 1-3, and then you have Vultures that end up just getting their win last week. So they got their first win of the season. So shout out to them. I believe we talked about them last week as well, because I score kept that game. So I'm just going to bring up the schedule on my side. So that was last week. And then on Wednesday, February the 12th, you had tight ends played Pick Artists, Gold Diggers that played Montreal Dragons. Pick Artists took care of business, won 33-12. Gold Diggers played Montreal Dragons, which was a pretty good game, ended 25-18. Gold Diggers got the win, so it brings them to 2-4, and then Montreal Dragons end up losing, so they go down to 1-4. But they scored some points, so they're getting a bit better. Hopefully, they don't play this week, so hopefully next week they could. They play Kiss My A, so maybe they get their first win there. Moving on to this week, we had the games that are canceled. I've been saying the one on Sunday, tight ends versus vultures, that game got canceled, so that game's gonna be rescheduled. And then you had anything versus Vicious and Delicious. That's going to be playing today, and that's going to be in Chateauguay. That should be a good game. Vicious is, I believe, 2-3, and anything is 5-0. So anything's kind of has their undefeated season on the line. So hopefully they could keep that going. Then you have Flamingos thing. Yeah. So yeah, nothing really after that. And then going to the following week, yeah, because the games were canceled, so it's kind of weird how to see it. So on Saturday, you have Dream Killers versus Vultures, Flamingos versus Ball TDs, Pick Artists versus Ghosted, anything versus BNGs. Not too much interesting games. Something that kind of looks out is anything is playing BAG. So again, that should be a decent game. If anything could keep their perfect record from this week and then going on to next week, they could end up almost could go 7-0. So it's almost close to a perfect season. And Balls and TDs to end up going right behind them at 5-0. So that's also interesting. I'm just gonna check if Balls and TDs and Flamingos do play versus each other. I'm pretty sure they do. Yeah, they play the last game of the season on April 6th. So as I think me and Brent said, we discussed about this later, that there could be one team that's undefeated, but there can be two because both teams are undefeated right now play versus each other. So that's it for Division. That was 3. So I'm gonna go Division 2. I'm gonna go Co-ed Division 2. Let me just open it. Co-ed Division 2. Open the standings here. I'm just gonna let it open up. It's loading. So all right. So as you guys could see, this is actually I think Co-ed 2 is probably one of the most interesting divisions. You have Team Rocket at 4-0, you have Tonic at 4-0, you have Daycare at 4-0, and you have Michael Scott's at 4-1. The top 4 teams right now seems like they're the front runners to win a division. I talked about it before. Team Rocket's a solid team all around. As we said, me and Brent were talking about Division 1, how we have the quarterback that plays for them, Guillaume Bilan, that plays for the Braves. We just finished talking about that he kind of took the quarterback role, and right now he's having a pretty good season. In fact, his team is 4-0. He's throwing, so he's throwing 57%, pretty good, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's also running, I believe, too. Definitely using his legs. So he has 9 attempts, 167 yards, 2 touchdowns. So it just basically kind of goes to show, if you don't have a rusher that's going to stop him, he's going to run over you. And it's a big help for a team, especially when you're able to use your legs as a quarterback. You're able to pick up the easy first down. So they're a team to kind of look out for, that the fact that they're 4-0. Same things for Tonic, as me and Brent were talking about it the previous weeks. They're a pretty good team too. They have a team in Division 1. They just on Co-ed 1. They just kind of have a similar kind of players that kind of change. So they're also a team to look out for. Same thing that goes for Daycare. They have that combo thing where they have the brother and the sister and the Guimauds that play together. One that plays for Royal, that plays Division 1, and then the other sister, Catherine, she plays for Sub-Zero and Women's 1 as well, and she plays for Co-ed 1 too. So that's a deadly combination. They also have other players as well to add to that. And then you have Michael Scott's also a veteran team that's 4-1. That's kind of started making a name for themselves. They usually play in Co-ed 3, so they made that little jump. And the fact that they're 4-1 is impressive. And then you have teams like Block Party too. It's a pretty known team too. They're getting their name out there. McNuggies too as well. That's a pretty good team, good defense. Right now they scored 99 points. They only allowed 69, so in 3 games, so that's pretty good defense wise. They allow about 23 points a game, so they're doing a pretty good job. Looking at the schedule that's coming up for these teams, I'm going to pull it up for you guys. Women's two schedule. So this week. So this week that the games that just passed, on the Monday, you had Daycare that took care of business. Same thing with Ghostbusters and Team Rocket. All those games happened last week. We had a bunch of games that got canceled this week on the Sunday. So those games are fortunately not going to happen. Monday, we have a huge game. We have Team Rocket versus Tonics, which is basically battle for first place. Both teams are 4-0, so it's going to come down to one team's not going to have a perfect season anymore, undefeated season. One's going to go 4-1, the other's going to go 5-0. So there's that. So that's pretty good. And then you have McNuggies versus Daycare. That's also going to be a very interesting game. That's going to be on Wednesday, where McNuggies is a team that could probably give Daycare their first loss if they end up playing pretty good ball. So that's something to look out for. I'm going to go into Co-Ed 1 now. So I'm just going to pull up this, sorry, I was on screen. So I'm just going to put up the standings for Co-Ed 1. Standings are there. You guys should see it very soon. And I'm just going to bring up the schedule for me. All right, so for Co-Ed 1, for standings, so you have the Merge at 4-0. You have Plenty of Fish that are at 4-1. IG Team at 3-0. Bad Nice Stride 3-2. Then going far down. Not much has changed. I believe kind of like nothing really has moved. If you look at the schedule that happened, the only teams that played so you had Dominoes that played Monarchs. That ended 49-14. Kevin Wyeth kind of getting back his groove. You have Pass Open that played Plenty of Fish. Big win for Plenty of Fish that brought them back basically to 4-1. Big win for them, winning 32-27. Then you have Party Mix that gets a huge win versus Easy Fun, giving them the first win of the season. So it kind of gets them a big one step closer to make playoffs, to make a playoff push. So it's a good win for them. This week that just kind of passed, you had Banana Nice Try that played Party Mix. So they end up having a big win and then losing a big game versus Banana Nice Try. So they lost 40-19. Hopefully they go back into the play board and trying to step it up for next week versus Fit Squad. Following this week, right now you're gonna have Monday. You're gonna have Kiss Manzon versus Hush Mazons. That's gonna be February 17th. So that's gonna be this Monday, and then you have Merge versus Pass Whipping. That's also gonna be today. Actually, they're gonna be playing. So that's 2 big games. I believe the Merge. I want to make sure. Yeah, Merge is 4-0 right now. So they're kind of playing Pass Whipping. Pass Whipping is a very veteran team where they have a lot of guys. So they can end up losing their perfect season there. So that's a really good game. That's going to be happening today. And then during the Wednesday, you have the IG Team versus Easy Fun. And then you have Plenty of Fish versus Fit Squad, which is also going to be pretty good. Easy Fun is 1-4, but again, they're a veteran team. They should be able to start picking it up. If you don't play a good game against them, they will probably beat you. So IG Team has to come with their A game. Again, they're 3-0. I believe they haven't played a game in a while. Their last game was January 25th. So they haven't played a game about 3 weeks. So maybe a little rust is going to be on them a bit, where Easy Fun has been playing games pretty constantly. Their last game was February 12th. So they actually played on Wednesday, and they played February 1st. So they had 2 games before. They had 2 games more than IG had basically played, and it's been recently. So maybe a bit of rust from IG is going to come. We'll see this Wednesday. Let's see how it goes. I'm going to go to, that was co-ed 1. I'm going to go now to men's rec winter. Sorry, opened the wrong page. All right, so in men's rec, 5v5 men's rec. I'm just gonna open the standings so you guys see it. And yeah, so you have mercenaries that are 5-1. You have green monsters that are 4-1. You have trap stars 2-0. First downs 2-2. Zero, 1-5, and then you have pass holes that are 0-5. Again, and the thing that's good about this division, everyone kind of makes playoffs. I'll show you guys the breakdown. 1 and 2 gets the buys. 3 and 6 play 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5. So kind of everyone makes playoffs. So you're kind of playing for that buy. Right now, Trap Stars only played 2 games, so they have a lot of games left. They've allowed 6 points per game. We talked about that the previous week. Green Monsters 4-1, Mercenaries 5-0. Big shout out to Mercenaries. They kind of have like a co-ed thing kind of going where they're playing. I believe they have like 3 females, 4 females, and they also have a couple males too. So they're kind of playing that. It's like a co-ed team, but they're playing like in a males division. So that's pretty cool for them. The fact that they're leading as well. It's 5-1. They're only allowing 88 points in the last 6 games, so they're allowing about 15, 14 points a game. So big job for them. Also, they're scoring 162 on offense. So they're scoring a lot of points. They're not allowing all the points. So right now they're ahead of the pack. They played Green Monsters. They basically shared wins and losses, as you see at below. So I don't think they play versus each other again. So they basically played versus each other. They beat Green Monsters 19-26, and then they lost versus Green Monsters 20-26. So they're not going to play versus each other again. I think their next big game is going to be versus Trap Stars, which Trap Stars is kind of behind. They've only played 2 games this season yet. So I think there's going to be 3 big teams that are going to be playing in this division, and I feel like there's going to be 3. Sorry, I think there's going to be 3 big teams that are kind of like they're going to be the well-known 1, 2, 3 seed. So I'm not really sure if Trap Stars are going to be the top 3 or the top 1. I'm going to have to see how it goes down. They play actually Green Monsters today, so that's going to just kind of show exactly how good Trap Stars actually are or how good Green Monsters are. So going down to the schedule, so that's the game that's going to be happening, and so that's going to be very interesting to see who wins that game, because it's going to kind of show who's going to be the top. It's going to be like who's going to be the top 1 seed, 2 seed, 3 seed. Because I think Mercenaries could be Green Monsters. I think they have a better team than them, but I don't exactly know how Trap Stars are going to be against Green Monsters and Mercenaries. So it's gonna be good to see how Trap Stars play today versus them, and we get a better view to see how the playoffs and standings are going to end up going after that game is played. So I'm gonna move down to intermediate. So you guys have the standings here. Again, I said this last week. It's pretty cool to see more teams playing this 5-5 concept. I feel like it's going to be the next big thing. So it's kind of nice to see more teams in it. I believe last year there was 4 teams playing in this division. I'm not sure if it was rec or it was intermediate, but now there's 8 teams in this one, 8 teams in the other one. So it's 16 teams. So it kind of goes to show. Also, we have the team Quebec use the 16A and 16B, which is kind of the same thing because they're doing kind of like a playoff thing. They're kind of doing like a practice thing where they're kind of making their cuts, and they're kind of seeing who can make the team, who could not make the team. So they're kind of like, it's like you would assume Quebec U16 is better than Quebec U16B, but sometimes it's not like that. They're just kind of moving guys around and trying to see who can play with who. So there's that. Top teams: Blue Dry 7.1 and Primal are in 3-0. Primal, very veteran team, so I'm not surprised that they're still 3-1. And then Blue Dry again. I think Blue Dry. I'm just gonna. I don't want to say something that's not true. Blue Dry, they played last season. They actually ended up losing in the semis, I believe, to Ambush. I believe they lost to Ambush last season. So again, veteran team. I guess they want their revenge. They're kind of showing out why they're 3-0. They have impressive wins: 38-12, 40-6, and then 34-28, which is a big game. They play X-Men tonight, actually. So that's gonna be a game to watch. X-Men are 2-1, so that's gonna be something to look at. We'll see exactly who's better, who's a better team. So we'll find that out tonight. We'll see how that goes. I'm just gonna go back here. So that's gonna be an interesting game. And then you have Primal. I'm just gonna click on them. I believe they also played tonight. Just want to double check. So Primal's next game is against you. Primal's next game is actually no. Their next game was supposed to be at the Stinger Dome. Was supposed to be yesterday, but their game got canceled. So their next game is going to be versus Blue Dry. So Blue Dry could take care of business, win their game. They'll be 4-0, and then Primal's going to be 3-0, and they'll be able to battle the first place to kind of see who's the best team going down. Unless Blue Dry ends up losing, because then we're going to have to wait for a Primal versus Primal already beat X-Men, so it's not really matter. Pretty much if when Primal plays Blue Dry, we're gonna see who's the top dog of this division after that game is played. So I'm gonna move down to men's competitive. I'm just gonna show the standings here, and then I'm gonna go to the schedule. So the standings right now, you have Braves 3-1, Vengeance 3-1, Flagmaw Sack 3-1, Party Throwers 2-2, Ruse 2-3. That's my team. Jameson's 1-2, Team Quebec U18 1-2, and then you have Team Quebec U18B 0-3. Big shout out to both the Quebec teams. It's kind of nice to see more. It's kind of nice to see more teams in the division. Also, different faces in the division as well. These kids they're young, but they're athletes. They're going to pretty much be the new faces of FPF sooner or later. So it's kind of nice to see that they're getting involved now. Solid bunch of guys. I played Team Quebec U18 last week, or maybe about a week and a half ago. Solid group. They're learning, so they're just going to get better. And it's nice to see, it's nice to see them competing versus teams like us. I'm just going to bring up the schedule on my side. Men's competitive schedule, just to kind of see what happened. So Monday, Braves played Ruse. They ended up playing us. We ended up losing a tough game, 21-20. It was a good game by both teams. We had AJ Gomez at quarterback actually this game because Dan lost a bet to AJ for the Super Bowl versus Chiefs versus Eagles, and as many of you know, Eagles ended up winning. So AJ got to take command and be a quarterback because he likes to actually play quarterback, and he kind of wanted to see what he could do in 5v5, especially versus a defense like the Braves. So he kind of wanted to show what he did. He had a pretty good game. He went 21 for 29, 183 yards, 3 touchdowns. He had a good offensive system going. So shout out to him. As I said before, we lost the tough game. I lost by 1 point. So it was a good game to watch. Again, as the schedule, I'm just gonna pull up the schedule. So the game Ruse basically this week on Sunday. So yesterday, Ruse were supposed to play Flagmaw. So we're supposed to play Flagmaw. That game unfortunately got canceled, and Jamieson's were supposed to play Team Quebec U18. Again, that game also got canceled. So that's unfortunate. But going down to this weekend, and so this Sunday, you have Vengeance versus Party Throwers, which is going to be an amazing game. 2 high-power offenses, also 2 very good defenses. So that's going to be good to see. You have Braves versus Team Quebec U18. That's also going to be a good game. Braves is probably one of the best teams right now in 5v5 football. So they should give Team Quebec a run for their Team Quebec could try to give Braves a run for their money. I'm expecting a little more from Team Quebec. They're a team. One thing I kind of realize is that uh, a lot of teams like us, like Flagmois, Braves, Vengeance, Ruse, like we're not gonna get any better. We're kind of gonna like stay the same way, you know, because we're kind of used to playing with each other. Maybe we'll do a bit of little change ups here and there, but realistically we're going to stay the same. Like we're not going to get any worse, we're not going to get better, we're going to stay mid. With these Team Quebec U18s and Team Quebec the both Team Quebec teams, that I feel like they're just going to get better and they're going to get more experience and they're going to understand more. So like the more teams they play and the more concepts they kind of run, because they actually have really good concepts, that they're just going to improve and they're going to get better. So it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be weird going down the line, seeing them in we're week 8, but I believe they only played 3 games. So when they get into like their 5th and 6th games, and when they're kind of getting their offense rolling and kind of their play calling, everyone's on the same page. It's going to be very interesting how good they actually get, and especially when it comes to playoffs, since everyone makes playoffs, they're going to be a very interesting team when you play them in playoffs. Because, as I said before, teams like a lot of teams like us, like Ruse and Braves and stuff like that, we already have our system, we already know how good we play, and it's gonna to a point. It's like we kind of go from like, oh, if this team screws up, you kind of win the game. If that team screws up, you kind of win the game, you know. And then Team Quebec is kind of like the experience right now is that they're losing a lot of games because they don't have experience and they're kind of just not understanding concepts. But they're learning and they're kind of like in that process of playing together as a team, you know, because for them this is a trial. So as many of you guys know, the more you play, the more you adapt to certain players, quarterbacks, defenses, you guys get better. And they're a young team, you know, they're not going to get worse. They're just going to get better. So I find it's going to be very interesting when it comes down to week 8 and week 9, moving forward, to see how good this team see how both are actually going to be. So yeah. Yeah, so that's it for that. They're gonna play. Yeah, so Team Quebec's playing Braves. It's gonna be a very good game. Same thing with Jameson's versus Team Quebec. It's also gonna be a good game. And then Flagmois is basically gonna play Rose. Hopefully, then the games get canceled, so they're gonna end up playing with each other. Because as I said before, last week the game did get canceled. Yeah, so that is it for 5v5. And yeah, so that is it for me. Yeah, so that is it for me. Thanks for tuning in. Again, if you have any, Brent had to leave. Again, if you have any questions, any suggestions, let us know. We're just trying to make this podcast as best as possible. We're trying to listen to you guys. We're trying to listen to feedback. We're willing to we're willing to kind of spice it up a bit, as we did. We're doing the All-Star thing. We're gonna try to. We did the All-Star thing where we're gonna pick a division every single week. So last week was Women's 2. This week was Women's 1. Following next week, it's gonna be Division 6A and 6B. We're gonna put them together. So that's something kind of new that we're kind of trying to do, to try to bring the community involved, Instagram community, and try to get you guys more involved. So we're going to be doing that. But again, if you guys have any other suggestions, just let us know. We're willing to kind of see what works, what doesn't work, and try to make this podcast as best as possible. And that's it. So thanks for tuning in.